Hey cosplayers, in this video we're going to go through how to make a simple cosplay pivot hinge like you see here with this hiccup helmet, both with the articulating backside and this front, and we're going to show you how to make that hinge in today's video. Stay tuned. Alright, if you are excited about this video and you've been wondering how in the world people make those hinges out of especially EVA foam, using EVA foam, then go ahead and comment with the word hinge in the comments below right now. The word hinge. Go ahead and type that in the comments. On your way back up, hit that bell notification once you've subscribed and select all so you get notified of all of our videos whenever they come out so you can stay on top of your game and cosplay like a boss. With that, let's go ahead and dive in. So as you can see here, we've got this hinging mechanism just kind of set up on a little pivot hinge that has quite a bit that's actually happening off of it. So while this seems very complicated, this is actually a very simple technique that I learned from my good buddy Chris over at the Lost Wax YouTube channel. So we'll put a thing to go see his channel right in here and his video where I learned this. But I'm going to share this and expand and share this beautiful knowledge that he came up with on how to make a nice simple hinge. So what you're going to need is some of this tubing. It's just a clear vinyl tubing. Comes in different lengths. You can get it in 10 foot, 20 foot. It is available at pretty much any hardware store, I believe. I got mine at Home Depot. The one I'm using here is a 1/2 inch outside diameter, 3/8 inch inside diameter. And you're going to take your pieces of foam. So let's say that we've got our foam here. Let's say this is our visor piece, right, that we're going to be attaching to our helmet. So I just cut out the 2 holes here, and let's say we want to make this pivot, on this piece, okay? So I cut out the 2 holes. I did that just using this little guy right here. It's a handy little 3-sided hole puncher, just made out of some copper piping pieces. I learned that trick from Evil Ted. Check out his channel, Evil Ted channel. And I just kind of modified it, made it a 3-prong thing with a little poker so that once I popped it, did the hole, I could pop the piece of foam out with this little thing. So just made out of a skewer stick and polyplastics. Anyway, so use this. I did the 2 holes in my foam. And now let's go ahead and make our hinge, okay? So what you're going to do is take a piece of this tubing. You're going to want it to be a little bit longer than what your foam is. So probably about a 1/4 inch or so sticking out on either side. If you want to, you can go a little bit longer on one side, and then once you get it fit in, cut it down. Just going to cut that out with my scissors there. And now pretty much what you're going to do is you're going to take this, heat up one end, with your heat gun, you get that end nice and hot to where it's nice and flexible and will bend, and you're going to kind of bend it into a little kind of flare it out on the top so that it holds itself in. Okay, so then you may, if you get it hot enough, you may want to wear gloves, but I like to just kind of flare it back like that and then push it down on the table until it kind of cools down, and try to keep that kind of flared out as flat as I can get it. If you can get it to kind of stick out at that 90-degree angle from it, that is ideal. Sometimes too, once I get it there, I'll actually bend it back further than I want it to go, because then that way, like most heated plastic things, it likes to bend back a little bit from where you actually held it while it cooled. So there you go. So now we've got kind of that little flare out there. And then what you'll do is you'll set that into your pivot piece, right? So now that's holding in there. Now from the other side, you're going to just do the same thing. Now you can do this with your heat gun or wood burner. If you have like a ruler or something like that, I like to use that sometimes, or if you just have anything kind of flat object, you can just kind of use to press down on that while it cools. Now you may want to cut this down a little bit more on the inside, obviously. This was probably a little bit long, especially if you're going to have it on the inside of your helmet or something like that. You don't want it sticking out, getting in your face or whatnot. And so you can trim this down and make this little flare as large or small as you need it. This is obviously a little bit too big. But there you go. So that kind of gives you the basic idea of how you would do that. And then you have your functioning hinge. Now, once again, you could cut this down, pull it in tighter, and then flare it out if you want to have a tighter hinge so that it doesn't have as much play in it. Or you can make it a little bit wider gap if you want it to be really easy to kind of flip around. So just based on how much you push this in and tighten that other side down around your foam, that will help determine how much hold and kind of friction you're going to have, or how easy that'll be able to turn on your piece. So there you go. Hopefully that was helpful for you. That's how you can make a simple cosplay pivot hinge just using some inexpensive tubing from the hardware store. This has worked great for me, as you saw here on my hiccup helmet. If you guys haven't seen this video, go check it out. I have a whole tutorial on how I made this, as well as the pattern available. This is kind of more in depth on how to do that pivot hinge. I cover a little bit of it in the video, and you can kind of see it in action, but this gives a little bit more in depth here in this video. But really cool, the things you can do with starting to kind of create some of these pieces. People see this and they're like, what? That's made out of craft foam? Like, that's made out of EVA foam? No way. That's insane. It looks like it's like this full piece of armor with like hinging pieces and everything. So if you want to impress your friends, use this awesome cosplay pivot hinge. Throw some credit over to Chris over at Lost Wax. Tell him thank you for coming up with this idea, and hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, give it a like, share it with a friend, and we'll catch you in the next one. Cosplay on, my friends.